ARTHEO ends the game. Like, you don't even know it's happening, but he's ending the game while you're fighting like a dumbass at the dragon, you know? Keep fucking stalling their backs. Stall the backs. Stop the ports! Stop the ports! Stop the ports! Stop the ports! ARTHEO!
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Volibear Explains. So we're going to be talking about the new meta build. So I created a breaker style out of it, and Rod of Ages and Flicker Blade is becoming very popular now. So I created a breaker build, and I'm also going to take the time to explain how this playstyle works. In terms of runes and all the different options that you can take as well. I have a Graps version as well as for jungle. These are also very viable options. So we're going to go through that. Quickly, I'm just going to kind of explain how this works. So we got PTA, we got adaptive damage, get bonus damage off this. Presence of Mind, very important for top lane, need that mana sustain. Legend Haste, this is very important for this playstyle. So it basically reduces the basic abilities, you know, your Q, W, and E. It's kind of like a Shojin in that sense, and it's also like a I wouldn't say Flicker Blade. I would say kind of like a Shojin or whatever. Well, Flicker Blade, it's all the same concept. Reduces your Q, W, and your E ability. So that's why we have that, is to reduce that down when you're not auto-attacking the wave. So basically how Flicker Blade works is when you auto-attack minions, monsters, and champions, you're going to reduce your Q, W, and E cooldown. So that's how that works. So with Legend Haste, without attacking anything, you're reducing your abilities that way. So in a sense, this is kind of like the closest you can get to an URF Volibear. Basically a URF kind of gameplay we're going for here. So then we got Last Stand. Basically, you know, you get bonus damage when your health is low. But the main thing about this playstyle is Jack of all trades. Is this here is you basically get ability haste and you get adaptive damage. So that's kind of a big deal. It kind of reminds me of Transcendence and Gathering Storm, what I used to run all the time. But basically, Jack of all trades works is if you gain like a stack for each unique type, gained from like items or stuff like that. So basically, Rod of Ages plays a huge role with Jack of all trades. So if you look at Rod of Ages, basically it gives you got AP, you got health, you got mana, and then eventually when you get Flicker Blade, you got crit, you got attack speed, and then of course when you go into Hullbreaker, it's going to give you AD. So you get pretty much a variety of different stats here in your kit. And then as far as armor and MR, that counts as well. So like items like Jack Show, it's really good because you can just kind of rush into like armor MR and then build it into Jack Show and get the stats right away. Going armor item into spirit, it kind of takes a little longer, but the reason why I like Unending Despair is because every 5 seconds you can heal off multiple targets and damage them. So it's really good with this playstyle. And the fact that you can use your W over and over and your E, you get quite a bit of sustain and you get a lot of damage kind of reduction in a sense with this because you get a lot of healing off this as well. So it's quite a big deal when it comes to sustain and damage. This build is a lot of fun. You got ability haste boots here. Again, the same concept with Legend Haste. We're trying to reduce the Q and W and E without auto attacking with Flicker Blade. So during that time, your abilities are always constantly getting lower, which is nice. And this is also good for the ult. The reasoning for going More ability haste is for your ult, but also for your Q and your E when you're not auto attacking anything. So you could go for higher ability haste like Cosmic and Frozen Heart. You could do that. But I just put this as the standard. So, armor, MR options, or whatever you want, but I highly recommend sticking to ability haste. So that's that. Now, triple tonic is also very important with this, is mainly because the level 9 skill point. Um, but the adaptive is the second one. So the first one does damage to a minion wave, and the second one gives you adaptive, and then the third one gives you a skill point. So that's very important. When you get the skill point, that just gives you an advantage in lane. And then when you get Rod of Ages, by the way, it's super cheap. It's 2,600 for this. It's very cheap. If you look at Flickr, same price. That's why this build is so good. Ability his boots are cheap as well, so you'll be able to snowball in lane, gain a point, which is going to give you an advantage. And once you max Rod of Ages, this is going to give you a free level up. So you can see the advantage of this early game and then into the mid-late game when you get that level up. It's quite a big deal. So that's how that works. The secondary runes you got here is the same setup, but a little bit more of a tankier and more of a breaker style. You get to abuse the demolish, especially with the hullbreaker. The thing about Flicker Blades that's better this this time around is that it has movement speed. Movement speed is quite a big deal on Volibear, even in the jungle. And for top lane, when you got to get the lane fast and you got to be able to move around and avoid the Avengers, it's quite a big deal. Attack speed, movement speed with Hullbreaker's movement speed, it's just really good. And the attack speed, Hullbreaker benefits from that, plus the AP that you put on your passive. The skipper passive is what makes this build so good for top lane. Even for jungle, I run the same shit in the jungle. We'll get to jungle in a bit. Jungle's a little different. Um, we don't go out of ages in the jungle. You can if you want to, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So that's that. Uh, this style, if you want to do that, and overgrowth is just really good for demolish, and also it's really good for hullbreaker. And hullbreaker, the main thing is with the inhibitor and nexus, this deals damage to that. Because without this, it's going to take you just a bit longer to take those down, and then end the game when you see the window too. And you can also use this in team fights as well. So it's just overall really good. And a lot of people sleep on this. This does damage to epic monsters. So like the dragon, the baron, you deal extra damage every fifth auto. So every time you auto the wave, you're stacking this pretty quickly. And also with your abilities, you're going to have your abilities up. You're going to be able to spam your combo, especially with PTA. Um, So moving on to we're going to talk a little bit about jungle runes now. For jungle, the build is Sundered basically. That's all you're doing here. You got Sundered Sky into Flicker Blade, and that's pretty much it. So we got the standard runes here. So we got Coop instead of Last Stand because it's just generally better in the jungle when you're ganking low health targets. And we got the Water Walking Celerity. So that's going to come in handy with all that movement speed. And then the other option here is more of a breaker style. You can go demolish and overgrowth, and you still be very fast with flicker blades and hullbreaker. It's just mainly you want to be able to get the grubbies and start putting a lot of pressure on those towers and get those plates. The more plates you can get early, the more gold, especially at level 6. That's when you should start, diving and starting taking place and get the rift and open up a lane. And, that's pretty much what you want to do with the Volibear. You want to open up a lane and look for a window to end the game. So those are the runes. Um, so Flash Ignite is just really good with PTA now because His disable is now 2 seconds early game, so you want to be able to go in and out and quickly kill the target as fast as you can. But we have other options here. We have Ghost Ignite, you can do that. Ghost Teleport is fine. For jungle, Flash, Smite is the best way to go with the PTA combo. And then we got the other option, Ghost and Smite. So yeah. So these are the builds. Remember, resistances is up to you, but try to stick to ability haste. It's just gonna make it a lot more like a URF Volibear. That's pretty much what we're essentially going with this build. So yeah, this is my guide. So you can click on this section here. This is all my breaker builds, my classic breaker builds that everyone pretty much knows about, where you can pretty much play different items with this. Even Riftmaker with Flicker Blaze is really good as well. But yeah, if you guys are wanting to play the new the metal style, but the breaker style, this is the best guide that you can have right here. And we're gonna walk into the gameplay and talk more about how you should play the early game, mid game, and late game with this playstyle. But first, before we do that, I'm going to show you something. So this is the win rate that I started playing on this account so far. So far I've won every single game in a row. So it's really good. I'm climbing through gold on this account. This is not my main account that I'm climbing on. So I just decided since the new meta came out, let's put this to the test in the top lane. And so far it's fantastic into a lot of different kinds of matchups. I went against ranged. I went against somebody with Blade of the Ruined King like Viego. I went against a tank like Shelgath, which Volibear generally thrives on. But the game that I'm going to show you is actually a difficult one, which is Renekton. Renekton is not an easy opponent. So we're going to go into that, and I'm going to show you how Flicker Blades can be very broken even against someone like Renekton, who typically has a lot of ability haste and a combo that just like bursts down a lot of top laners. So we're gonna go in and talk about that for a minute. But I want to show you also for jungle, Cookie Man. As you all know, I made a guide for him, and I pretty much formatted his guide for him, and he became the #1 guide on Mobile Fire, and I was placed second place. So if you can see here, he started running Flicker Blaze. He duos with Trick 2G, and he also got into Masters on this account with this build. You can see down here. Yep, he got into Master. You can see he's got quite a bit of wins here with Thunder, Sky, and Flicker Blade. So that's what I recommend for jungle if you guys are junglers. But yeah, so let's head on over to the gameplay and we're going to talk about top lane. All right, so now we're going to step into the gameplay. I'm just going to show you clips throughout the entire gameplay and kind of explain the process, early game, mid game, late game, and talk about items and what it does and all this stuff, so you get a better understanding of how the playstyle works. All right, let's start. All right, so we're against Renekton here. So early, you basically want to drop your E before he gets close. So he's got like a bar below his health bar that grows and eventually turns red. It's called Fury. So when he stacks that, he does more damage. So you want to like bully him off the wave using your E and your passive. So we're starting with the Doran's Ring, so you get quite a bit of magic damage here. And then PTA damage as well. So it's pretty much what we're doing. We got the level 2, and then we're able to combo him and get him below halfway. And this is usually where I like to ward. The ward there, so you can see the jungler walking up. And then we're going to continue to bully him off. And use your E. And there you go. And I like to wait in this bush and drop my E because you can't see the animation. This is what you want to do. You hit him with that. And then you're going to set yourself up for a flash combo. That's what you're looking to do. So we got a Ignite Flash, so we're looking to get an early kill. is what we want. We want to start getting our items early if possible. There we go. Got a window here. I'm going to flash ignite. But unfortunately I died too. But that's fine. So we're both about even. So he's got long swords, I got a wand. So you want to get the wand. When you're starting with Rod of Ages, get the wand first. Blasting wand. So you want damage first. Because the other component has health and mana. You're not really going to get a whole lot from that. So I recommend that. Always start with the wand into the health mana component. And then finish off Rod of Ages that way. So you can see here Renekton can do a lot in a single combo with PTA as well as Volibear can. So this was cutting it pretty close here. The downside to these set of runes is we don't have second wind. So the sustain is kind of rough. But once you get Rod of Ages, that all changes. So I'm level 6 here, so I'm going to go all in. Boom. So now I got the components, got the health, got the mana, got the boots. So all that is going to stack onto Jack of Trades, and we're going to get some ability haste, and we're going to get adaptive damage. So his wave's a little heavy pushing in, so I just want to, you know, just chill and take all this farm here. And then now we can push into him. Continuing with the same strategy, use your E, use your passive so he can't walk up on you. Because his combo is very deadly if you don't do that. And that's exactly what we want to do. We just want to push that, and then we're going to walk in and put a ward at the exact same spot. That way we got vision on Grubbies. So he can't do anything. He can't walk up to the wave. So I'm just kind of slowly, you know, just farming. Trying not to like clear the whole thing with my E unless he walks up. So in a sense, I'm kind of slow pushing, but I'm not. Going with the Q Ignite Flash combo there. So the thing about PTA is when you do the Q and E combo, once you stack PTA, just before the E lands, you get that bonus damage off your E. That's why it's so deadly. And when you go with Rod of Ages here, as you can see here, you gain 20 health, 20 mana, 4 ability power every 60 seconds up to 10 times, reaching max dex, gain a level. The stats are insane on Rod of Ages. So you get healing off it, you get mana sustain. It's kind of essentially like having Presence Mine and Second Wind. That's how broken it is. So yeah, basically what I was saying with PTA is when you go in Rod of Ages, like AP, or even like Riftmaker, with PTA, you do the combo, the Q, W, E combo, as soon as that E lands, you get that bonus damage. So that's why the Flash Ignite combo works so well with that. So Jack of all trades here. We're going to pause this for a minute. So for each different stat gained from items, gain 1 Jack stack. So each stack grants you 1 ability haste. So gain 10 or 25 bonus adaptive force at 5 and 10 stacks respectively. So obviously on the early game you're going to get the 10, and then in the late game, mid to late game, you're going to get the 25. So it's quite a big deal. So it kind of reminds me of like Gathering Storm, where you get, you know, damage every 10 minutes of the game, and it just endlessly grows. So 25 bonus adaptive damage is really good. And then, you know, of course, the ability haste. So that And Legend Haste is what makes this insanely good. And cooldown boost as well. So right now we got 5 different stats, and we got plus 10 adaptive. So you can see there the stats there, 40, 64. That's how much healing we got done. And then the cooldown boost is just it's gonna allow us to spam our abilities early with the Rod of Ages. The Rod of Ages doesn't have ability haste, so that's why we want to go with that. And between that and Legend Haste is just insane. You got everything. You got attack speed, you got ability haste, you got it all. So you got TF here. He's going in, land a stun. I'm going to go in. I'm going to flash because I know he's got flash. And then that way I can ult him. Boom. So that helps a lot. We'll be able to take this tower, get a lot of money off this. So Zeal, it's got 15% attack speed and we got movement speed. This is what makes this so good right now. Flicker Blaze is so good because of that item. Attack speed, movement speed is so good on Volibear. Plus you got the crit, so you got the stats working with Jack of all trades. So you Flicker Blade now, and you can see here your attacks reduce your non-ultimate ability cooldowns. So you can see that. We're going to put that to the test here. Watch when we fight a Renekton, we're going to see the cooldown on the abilities. And there you go. You can see it's being reduced every time I auto. It's pretty insane. So we'll be able to show that again in several fights. And I get to show you how Flicker Blaze works on Volibear. So you got to remember too, with Rod of Ages, it gives you a bigger E shield. So that's what AP does on Volibear. So every time you spam that E, you're just, taking less damage during that time. You can see another example here. The ability is being reduced. We easily killed Renekton there, and he has, Eclipse and Black Cleaver. So those items are very deadly. And the fact that I just killed Renekton like that instantly shows how strong this build is. So now we're working on a hullbreaker. We got more movement speed, got more health and damage. So we're going to pick up this Baron. And this is what a lot of people sleep on is Baron buff and hullbreaker together on a wave is what makes Volibear even more deadlier. You get all that damage from that wave. So I had to ult here because I got slowed. So we take Zyra down. We're going to chase this Yone down because we're going to have our Q up instantly with all the ability haste that we have. And when I attack him, I'm going to get it down. It looks like TF's got him, so that's good. I'm going to take this tower. So you notice I still have the Baron buff, and now I got hullbreaker. So every 5th attack, the skipper passive is going to be like a mini demolish. Going to deal damage to champions, epic monsters, dragon, baron, and to the towers. So even though we don't have demolish in our runes, hullbreaker is going to be basically the demolish. So we're going in here. You can see the ability haste on QW and E. Damn. Picked up a double kill there, and the game's over, by the way. Game's over. We can auto attack the wave to get our abilities if we need to. We got the bear special. That's pretty much it. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So this is just a short video explaining what you can do with this new meta, this new breaker style. So like I was saying, Cooking Man Man's running in the jungle for you junglers out there. Sunder, Sky, Flicker Blaze, the way to go. I actually like his setup. He going Sunder, Flicker into Jack Show. That way you get the stat very quickly, actually. You get pretty much everything with this setup here. And for top lane, you can see I'm on a win streak here. I'm running through gold on this account, which is very good. On my other accounts, I'm almost flat, so I'm, this play style is legit.